This was another very, very emotionally charged episode for me. Ultimately, though, it is so good, and it's just being told so well.
Akame got killed, episode 8, killed it 3, part 2.
Man, another one. Just another. Never gets any easier. Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome and really heartfelt and, I tell you, just kind of saddening tale that is Akame got killed. Now, our last episode, of course, saw us, and to tell you the truth, I really wasn't kind of over, mourning Shelley's death yet, and that was in episode 6, but episode 7 certainly ratcheted things up for us, and by the end of it, we saw, of course, the three, Esdeath's three, Liver and Nayo and the other one that wound up getting split in half by Bulat at the end of the episode. Things wound up leaving off with us kind of seeing Liver, General Liver, and his former pupil Bulat going face to face, and kind of that look of recognition as they saw each other, and then knowing that shit's about to go down, and that's where the episode left off. The episode picks up right there. They're on the ship. Tatsumi, of course, it was kind of. Bulat kind of jumped in and wound up just coming to the rescue and just showing how much of a badass he is with his Incursio on and everything. We find out that General Liver, he is, and it doesn't sound right to me for some reason, but I'm wanting to think that maybe his name is actually General River because of the L and R thing in Japanese. But anyway, regardless, General River or Liver. River makes more sense though, because the guy, we find out that his Tegu is Imperial Arms is actually, he's able to actually manipulate water. He's actually able to manipulate water, which is cool because, they're on this giant ship, so he's able to obviously summon and use all different types of things, vortex and tidal waves and everything else. And water, it's kind of funny because I was watching this with my oldest son. I'm trying to get him into it, and he's absolutely loving it. But he's watching this and he's like, oh yeah, like water can really hurt somebody that much. What people don't realize is that just the destructive power of water and then the force of it, I mean, even just in a couple feet of water, if you wind up getting tugged away or pulled by one of those undercurrents, the way the water rushes out while the stuff along the top is pushing in, it can take, I mean, it doesn't matter what your size is. It doesn't even matter if you can take an elephant and flip him and pull him in. Water is such a destructive thing, especially when used in the right way, so it's really neat to see this and to see his power. And really the first half of the episode is just kind of these two going at each other. And to tell you the truth, Bulat, for all the showmanship that he had and everything that he did, being a badass in the last episode, kind of gets his ass beat around pretty well. He winds up dodging and absorbing this hit and absorb. But, I mean, he winds up taking some pretty bad beatings. Eventually gets to the point where he actually has to go and the Incursio armor, he actually has to drop it and take it off. Now, the nice thing is about that is that it took so much energy and focus and concentration for General River, I'd like to call him, that he is actually bleeding from behind his ear, and basically like a like the sign of like a stroke or an aneurysm or whatever, because he was obviously using just so much of his force, his aura, to be able to project and be able to use that water. So Bulat, don't get me wrong, I mean, he wasn't getting whipped around like like a little kid or anything, but he certainly didn't make a whole lot of moves towards General River. He just took a lot of beatings, I guess you would say, a lot of a pounding, While Tatsumi watches on from this, finally. So anyway, so the Incursio gets dropped, right? And Bulat's like, you know what? You don't even have any strength to go and summon your, to be able to use your Tegu. Mine obviously needs to kind of just recharge and chill for a bit or whatever because it was damaged so badly. We'll just fight one-on-one, And then you actually go and you kind of see these two just going at it one-on-one. And General River winds up going and trying to talk him over to his side, He says, it's okay, it doesn't matter that you don't believe in the capital and in the Imperial Army and everything else. You're working, if you came and worked with me, you'd be working with Esdeath and General Esdeath, and we find out that he kind of like admires her for whatever reason or another, and that is the reason that ultimately he decided to go. He wouldn't take a bribe from back in the day, and that's how it started, that whole chain of events, right? Wouldn't take a bribe from a higher up or what have you. But apparently his morality was able to be compromised when it came to enlisting in her service. because for whatever reason or other, he believes in her. So we haven't really seen why yet, because we haven't seen much of A's death. She's really just kind of been more on the horizon, and we've just seen some brief moments, you know. But all in all, just very, very well done. Again, the animation is beautiful. The use of just the different soundtracks, as far as the music, the sound effects, the voice, all very, very good. Just the ambiance that it creates is wonderful. It draws you in. It brings you in. Anyway, Bulat winds up going and just using this beast-ass attack on Liver to go and just take him out, right? Just to annihilate him. And as River is going and flying back, he winds up using this kind of final last-ditch effort attack that he has, which is pretty much like, I forget what it's called, if it's blood blades or blood sword or whatever, but he takes the blood that's flying out of his body from getting pummeled by Bulat and turns it into like these projectiles that go and are able to go and skewer and cut Bulat, right? It doesn't kill him by any means, but we find out like a minute later that it doesn't matter, because at the beginning of the battle, River wound up injecting himself with this some kind of serum, and I just thought it was some kind of formula to help him hulk up, you know, like it was concentrated energy drink or something, you know, just fucking putting that 5-hour energy right in his neck over there, you know, a little liquid cocaine for him. Who knows? I didn't know. Maybe it was some kind of vodka or something like that. Whatever the deal was, I just assumed it was some kind of energy stimulant to go and to make him stronger, more resilient, whatever the case may be, whether it was a drug or whatever. No, we find out that it was a goddamn poison, and I mean a lethal poison, right? He did this because he knew that worst case scenario, that this was, remember when two Tegu or Imperial Arms users, whatever we like to call them, go against each other, one shall stand, one shall fall. One must win, one must die, right? One must live, one must die. So he knew that going into it, that this was an all-or-nothing type of battle, and wound up injecting himself with this lethal poison, and then, you know, I don't know, maybe having that in mind that he would be able to use his blood and be able to infect him, or maybe he's thinking it was bite him, whatever, I don't know. The point is, though, is that now we know that Bulat has been poisoned and is weakened and obviously is dying, right? Well, what he winds up doing, because now, remember, there's still one guy left. There's that Nayu, I think it is, and I actually mistook him for a little girl in the last one, but he's just kind of a weird-looking dude. Likes to go and take people's faces off and stuff like that, like a skin trophy collector type person. Just a little weirdo. He's the one with the flute, right? So he's going to go, and he's like, oh, okay, and he goes and does this thing where he kind of like hulks up and just becomes like just all steroid junkied out, looking huge, right? And then he goes and he's like, yeah, come on, let's have a fight. And he wants to go and fight Tatsumi, right? So Tatsumi goes and he's kind of having this talk with a dying Bulat, and Bulat winds up going and telling him that he can use Incursio, right? Use it and wear it and make him proud and all this other shit, right? And it's his dying speech. And Tatsumi, he doesn't know if it's going to be compatible with him. Remember, the one just from a couple of episodes ago was not compatible with him. The one from Zonk or Zant, or whatever his name was, the Executioner. That was not compatible with him. So, but what makes Bulat think that it will be compatible with him is his initial impression of it when he saw him when they were fighting those invaders in episode 3 that were coming into their hideout. And Bulat was fighting side by side with Tatsumi, and Tatsumi saw Bulat and some of it, how he pulled the Incursio up, and how he wore it, and how he just tore these guys apart. So Tatsumi's first initial impression of the Incursio was just this amazement and wonderment, right? This childlike amazement. And he thinks it'll help make it more compatible with him, right? So anyway, while this is all going on in this microcosm of moments, you've got the hulked up little she guy, Nayu or whatever, going and talking shit, going, oh yeah, you're gonna use that? That wouldn't be a fair fight. Don't you want to just have a fair fight? And I'm thinking in my mind, dude, you just injected steroids into your nutsack over there, and you look like the fucking Hulk all cracked out and shit, minus the green, and you want a fair fight? You know? So anyway, long story longer. You know, we wind up getting the Incursio winds up getting passed on to Tatsumi. Tatsumi is actually able to go and put it on, and the cool thing is, and what I really liked, is that once it came on him, it actually started to morph and change its look. And even Bulat makes mention of it, or whatever. It's basically like adapting to Tatsumi. So not only has it accepted him, and we know that it takes extreme mental and physical concentration and drains your energy and everything else to be able to control these and use these Tegus. But the point is that it was compatible. It is compatible with him. And now Tatsumi, who was a fast swordsman, right, is now on that next level. He's on that next level shit. He got the Incursio going, right? Now Bulat's over here dying. The Incursio, he goes and gets this shit on. It just looks so cool, the whole animation and everything, right? Nayu goes to come at him, and he just goes in, just blasts him, right? And I'm watching this shit, and all of a sudden they go and they show just the aftermath of what happened. Dude got splattered against the wall, man. Got hit against the wall so hard. Yeah, it cracked the wall and all that shit, but all the blood popped out of his body, right? His body went and hit the wall, and his heart and everything just went, fuck! And the blood just went, get out of here! And just got out of his body. Absolutely insane. And just looking at just this, like, smear of a body flattened against the wall, man. One hit, one kill. Man, was it amazing. What a great, great episode. After the fact and all this winds up happening and kind of things wind down over here, we see a very touching moment, and it actually did bring a tear to my eye, man. I get too wrapped up in this stuff sometimes, you know, and I know a lot of people say, it's okay, and you can shed manly tears over this. Listen, man, I'm at an age and a point in my life now where if there's something that bothers me and I shed a tear, I need to cry or I show some emotion, I do. I'm past all that bullshit of like, oh no, real men don't cry, and you just suck it up and hold it in until you fucking explode some other way. No, when something bothers me like that, I got no problem watching something like this and getting choked up and everything, and this is what wound up happening. You know, Bulat's there, he's dying, you know, or he's passed on, you know, and obviously he was happy that his kind of dying, you know, vision or view or whatever as he was dying was certainly the Incursio being passed on to Tatsumi. And really, it was just, it was a very touching moment, and to me, it's amazing how in such a short period of time, just 8 episodes, you can become so attached. But they did such a wonderful job in the first 5-6 episodes of kind of introducing and then actually fleshing out the characters with their backstories and with them kind of being teamed up with Tatsumi, and just seeing their quirkiness and their personalities and all those things. And then it hits, for me, that's great storytelling, because then it hits home that much more when someone does die and a life is lost. Now, I've seen a couple of comments that said, oh man, Jim, you're going to like this, but this is like the Game of Thrones of anime or manga, you know. And that's a double-edged sword. That can be good and bad. I love Game of Thrones, but boy, does it irritate me when a main character just winds up getting offed, and it seems like before they've really come full circle with their development and their story and everything else, you know. But I guess that keeps you guessing too, though. So again, double-edged sword, you know. It keeps it fresh, keeps it real, keeping it real, right? But it was a very sorrowful, you know, ending to the episode, because we see as the rain's coming down, and we see Tatsumi kind of like this it's not fair type of thing, you know. I mean, he's lost two people, you know, 2 comrades, 2 brothers in arms, or, well, Shelly was a sister in arms, in just the last couple of episodes, you know, and in the time period of here, I mean, with the last few days, I guess, just maybe a few weeks, I don't know. It doesn't matter the time period. The point is, it never gets any easier losing somebody you care about, and he did. He cared about him, and it was such a shame, because Bulat was probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Night Raid, favorite character of Night Raid. So that's how the episode ends off. The curtain drops on a very sorrowful note. They were able to manage to defeat the 3, but not without loss. Let's put it that way. So my episode question for you, though, brothers and sisters, you know, ultimately is you know, what are your thoughts on Bulat? What were your thoughts, of course, on another, I guess you'd say, main character or character of Night Raid being offed so early or so quickly in the series? You know, I mean, obviously, if you saw it coming, hey, you're better man or woman than I didn't, especially after the death of Shelly. I figured, okay, well, that'll hold us over for a little while, you know. And then just 2 episodes later, and right after the end of last episode, too, Bulat looked like he was just going to handily take these guys out. He split the dude in half, right? So, anyway, I wanted to know what your thoughts were on the death of Bulat, on the character deaths in general, especially maybe in this type of series, if they are frequent, if it's something that you like, you don't like. Leave your answer to that question in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next one, Nation. Thanks for watching, folks, and remember to check out my other channels, too.